Well, welcome to Countdown to Infinity and Avengers podcast. This is a very special episode.
Ooh.
This is actually an addendum. Do you know what?
An addendum?
An addendum? Is
An
that a word?
addendum?
An addendum, which I think is something that you add on to the end of something.
Okay.
Because we had 4...
Should I double check this?
It's fine. Whatever.
We've already said it. It's already been said.
Yeah, if not, we made up the word addendum.
Addendum.
So the reason why it's an addendum is we had 4 episodes going over all of the things that is happening in Marvel's Phase 4, all the movies, all the Disney Plus stuff.
Yep.
But we didn't take into account that after San Diego Comic-Con, there would be D23, which is Disney's own specific Comic-Con, where they, guess what they did?
Announced a bunch of
Announced
shit.
more stuff.
Yep.
So this is an addendum.
Addendum.
We're going to make that word a thing.
We're going to say it as many times as we can.
As many times as possible. This is an addendum, to that episode. An extra bonus episode to that. My name's Emmanuel.
My name is Sofia. Hello.
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 Hello, lover. Let's make out.
Welcome.
John.
Oh, we do it all the time.
Yes, we're doing it the normal way.
Yes.
Jan.
Jan. Who the fuck is Jan?
Jan isn't here because she's not a part of the podcast. John and Andrew. Oh wow, Jan is like the combination of John and Andrew.
No, don't make that shit up.
Jandrew.
You've already said it. I already know she exists now.
Jan, if you're listening, hide
fucking over,
hide
Jan.
the kid. John and Andrew aren't here. They have a really busy schedule,
They
and
do.
we are currently recording another podcast, which we'll talk about at the very end.
Shut up.
But we're working really hard on that. So you just get the leftovers, and that's Sophia.
That's me. Hey, hello. Sorry, guys.
You're actually
sorry to disappoint.
You're a fan favorite. A lot of listeners love you.
up.
They really do.
Oh my god, I love you guys.
There is a person on our Patreon who wishes that you and I just had a Disney podcast, and that's
guess what? It's partially this one because we're talking
That's true.
Disney, sort of.
Marvel's owned by Disney.
Damn, we really should though, huh? We should make that a thing. I'm just so busy. Oh my god, why don't you talk to Jan about it?
Jan would be great on a podcast. Jan, hit me up, Jan.
Fucking Jan.
HMU, Jay. But before we go into the Phase 4 stuff from D23, we had a really fun trip. We had a couple fun trips.
Yeah.
We went to Australia, but
we did.
That's just a brag.
That's neither here or there.
We held a koala and we watched whales.
I guess it's there.
We saw whales. We didn't just watch them. We fucking saw them.
Yeah, But
then we went to New York and Philadelphia, and in Philadelphia,
within the same week.
I know, it's crazy.
Because we're insane.
Luckily, in Philadelphia, at the Franklin,
that was so cool.
That was luck.
That was insane. Yeah, it was not even part of the Philly trip that we had scheduled.
So at the Franklin Institute, we were driving by, and we saw that the Marvel,
there were these huge Marvel banners
Iron
everywhere.
Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, and we were like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
and it was the
just in that
final,
voice, too.
the final. What's going on?
What's going on over there?
Oh boy. It's me, Mickey. It was the final week of the Marvel exhibit there. I think it was an 80-year anniversary type thing. And so we said, let's hop over there.
Yeah, so worth it. There was so much cool stuff.
So there, not only are there props from all of the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe movies and the older ones too, but there's also
comics.
a lot of history on Stan Lee, on the comic books.
Yeah.
I would say go check it out, but I think it may be over. It may be gone.
Yeah, I think it may be gone already, but it's something, I feel like it's something that definitely moves from museum to museum. So it's a traveling exhibit for sure.
It definitely should. And look it up. But so what was your favorite thing to see?
I think I got more emotional on like seeing the actual comic book side of the exhibits. Not necessarily, I mean, of course everybody loves the movies, but like you see some of that stuff like at different Comic Cons and different and especially because Disney stockholders, like we have seen some like exclusive stuff before, like just at the meetings, but seeing the actual comic books and like things that are physically signed by Stan and also like the other creators, I can't remember the name that I'm thinking of right now.
So it is, and I think it's because maybe we're so into the we know a lot of the behind the scenes stuff is when we see things like Thor's hammer or Iron Man's suit or even like Captain Marvel's Kree suit, you're like, wow, this is really cool. This was used in the movie. But then you're like, there's also a million of these probably. There's multiple. I'm sure, Hemsworth has a Thor hammer in there.
Right.
But when you see Spider-Man #1, Fantastic Four #1, the very first Marvel comic ever.
That is what I got emotional
that stuff was
about.
insane. Yeah. I will say my favorite moment was where they had all of the Doctor Strange and the Ancient One and the Eye of the Dormammu, all of that's the Eye of Agama, all of that stuff was in this really cool exhibit filled with mirrors, and there were lights, and it felt like you were going into the dimension.
Yeah.
That was, I think, really, really cool.
That was definitely... I mean, Doctor Strange is one of my favorite Marvel movies, so it's,
And then, of course, they had like a really tiny X-Men exhibit in Daredevil.
I also like speaking of tiny, the Ant-Man exhibit was really cool, too. They made it like a holographic type deal, and he was, shrunken, and so you had to look inside of this little room, and he tried to figure out where he was, because he was just so tiny.
Yeah.
And it was really cool and interact. The whole experience was just not just like walking around a museum. It was very interactive, and there were like kids there with their parents, and I mean like babies, like couldn't even walk babies without help.
Yeah.
And the parents were like, "Oh, look, do you see this? That's Doctor Strange." And I was like, "Oh my god!" It was just so cute to see a bunch of families just getting together and around the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Is very cool. Very cool to see.
Here's what I'll say is that they extended it. So the exhibit is in Philadelphia. If we have listeners in Philadelphia, but
what up, Philly?
Everyone in Philadelphia, and honestly, it's a short train ride, an hour from New York, Manhattan. But it closes now September 11th, so that's the last day you can go see it. And they just added, and I think this might have been there. They now have props, and I think this was there when we were there. What? They have the shield from Captain America used. In
they had that
Avengers Endgame. I didn't know that's was the
that
Endgame
one specifically.
Yeah, but that's really exciting. So
nice.
We're all marveled out now. Even on our vacation time, we are
working.
We are working all.
See, it's all for you guys.
It's all for you.
We work so hard.
we had to go see these props for you.
We had to see them for you.
We have to talk about D23 and stuff
for you
guys.
God.
Okay, so let's dive into it. So at D23, which is the annual Disney meeting this year in Anaheim, not always in what? Maybe it is always in Anaheim actually. But they announced a slew of new Disney Plus series. I was gonna say TV. I was gonna say TV shows, but they're not TV shows. Disney Plus series. They also highlighted more stuff of the things we already knew. They showed footage of What If. They showed footage of a lot of stuff that's coming down the pipeline. But I want to talk about all the new stuff.
Go for it.
We are. Let me see. There's 5 things we're gonna talk about.
Okay.
Okay. But we're gonna start with a series that I didn't even know they were working on, which is Miss Marvel. Which is really exciting. So Miss Marvel
That's why she had an exhibit in Philly.
Yeah, she definitely had her own exhibit. She's a really popular part of the comic book series. And this is honestly when Jan should be here, John Andrew, because they read these comic books.
That's true.
But I remember when Miss Marvel came out, I think it was in 2013, 14. It was pretty recent.
Okay.
But they announced that she was going to be the first. Her city is New Jersey.
Nice.
But she's the first Muslim Pakistani American superhero.
Oh.
So I'm excited for this show that's coming out. And Kevin Feige, whatever his name is, he's saying that she's going to do her movies and her Disney Plus series, and then she'll be part of the MCU movies at some point.
That's exciting.
Yeah, how exciting! Miss Marvel set in Jersey. Too close to New York. Still not that different, I think. But exciting to see her on the main screen. And do you know what her superpower is?
Does she have big hands or something?
That is what we saw. But yeah, that's part of the thing. She can change her, just not a shapeshift, but change the way she is. Like she can have a bigger hands if she wants to. She's really strong. She can
She can change.
She's a changer. Let me look at Kamala Khan is her alter ego, or is her name.
Kamala? That's a pretty name. Yeah,
Kamala Harris. She was running for president right now.
That's
she's a shapeshifter. She has an inhuman gene.
Wait, so what's the difference between her and that chick from X-Men? The one that's blue. What's her name?
Oh, Mystique.
Sure.
So Mystique, I guess, is shape-shifting, but she really just imitates humans, and Miss Marvel can actually shift how big she is, her hand. Like she can do it all. More. Yeah. And she actually takes over for
she's like
Carol
a mixture,
Danvers, Captain America at some point.
She's like
Captain Marvel.
She's like a mixture of Mystique and like what, Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah, from the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Kinda. Yeah, I think that's a good. Miss Incredible.
I'm sorry.
What's her
fuck?
name? Elastigirl.
What did you say?
I was gonna say whatever.
It started off as
Yeah.
a sentence and went off into like something weird.
I'm wondering how young she's gonna be in this because she's a little. She's like not a little girl, but she's like a teen in the comic book. So,
little baby girl.
I'm wondering because the only other person of that age is Spider-Man.
I feel like she looked younger, but she was no. I don't think she's as young as Spider-Man. From what we saw in Philly, I mean, that's all I know about her. To be quite honest, I haven't done any extensive research on her yet. But now I'm probably going to have to because, I mean, not have to, but. Have to. No, I'm just kidding.
It's gonna be really cool to see her and her.
Yeah, I'm interested. Yeah. Now I'm for sure gonna. Yeah.
Exciting. Let's see what else.
Also,
what else?
I'm happy to see a chick.
Oh, another lady. Yeah.
Another lady.
Miss Marvel. And also the first Pakistani and first Muslim.
Yeah, great
superhero.
shout out. That's
Insane.
fantastic.
The other thing I want to skip that for now. Oh no, we'll go right into it.
What is it?
MoonKnight. So I don't know how much you know about MoonKnight, but I had to look up more about him.
I know nothing.
I know what he looked like, and so I had to Google MoonKnight. I know some of you who read comic books.
That's his name, MoonKnight.
MoonKnight.
That sounds like
Here,
a
let me
My.
show you.
It sounds like a My Little Pony name, MoonKnight.
Yeah, it's a Disney Plus Marvel show about My Little Pony. That Disney now owns. Fantastic. I don't know if they own My Little Pony. So MoonKnight is really exciting. So I knew that he was a mercenary, but he has basically he has a lot of personalities.
Now he sounds like a psycho.
He's a mixture of a lot of different people, I have to say. So he's kind of like a Batman.
Okay.
Because he is a millionaire or billionaire who has his own gadgets, but he has multiple personalities. He was basically hurt while he was in Egypt, and a god gave him some powers.
What in the world?
So it's kind of insane. But what's exciting about the comic books, from what I've heard, because I haven't actually read them, is that he takes all these different personalities, but he sometimes forgets who he was.
Oh, okay. Before?
But they're all him. Like he has a character who is a millionaire. He has a character who is
you say character, but it's just part of his personality.
Sorry, yeah, he has a personality who's like a cab driver. So he has a lot of really fun, interesting things like that. But yeah.
Okay, so, but is there a reason behind his doing that, or is it just because he wants to?
I believe he has mental health issues, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
So that's what's something really interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
But, I mean, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he does. Let me double check.
If you're wrong about that, that's something crazy.
He might have dissociative identity disorder. So that's an insane thing.
That's so cool.
They basically do a lot of correlations between the moon, because the moon has full moon, waxing, waning moon.
Yes, I understand.
And
different faces.
His personalities are just like that. He goes into these different phases.
Do they change with the changes of the moon?
I don't know. Well, it is the Egyptian moon god or whatever gave him his powers.
Oh, so that's what. Oh, because he was in Egypt whenever he got. Yeah. Okay.
And he is definitely a good guy, because when he almost dies as a mercenary.
Is one of his personalities bad?
I don't know.
That would be interesting.
That'd be interesting.
Too.
Yeah. Well, because that's one of the things. He was given this second chance at life as long as he does good with it.
Okay.
So
so it's like under contract.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? He's the fucking MoonKnight. We'll have to ask John and Andrew when they're back. I feel so bad that they're not here. But yeah, he's also an Avenger. So all these. This is the Avengers universe, so all of these people are probably Avengers now.
Okay.
Cool. They also announced the SheHulk, which is a Disney Plus show as well.
Yeah, people are going crazy over it on the internets. Wow.
I don't know if you. I mean, I should have asked you this before, so you can have a list. But I don't know who you want to play her. I mean, I don't.
I do like the one from that girl from.
Here we go. Time to guess.
I'm so sorry. The girl from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. What is her name?
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking
It's like Beatrix or Beatrice something. I want to say that. I don't know why that name came to my mind, but maybe I could be completely wrong. She plays Rosa.
Yeah, she has a cool attitude.
Yes.
I don't know how.
Have you heard her real voice, though? It's so high-pitched. It's nothing like it is in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is so crazy to see and hear. If you watch her actual interviews, like just personal interviews, her voice is really, really high and really cute and like sweet versus like her Rosa character, which is like super dark.
So she plays Rosa Diaz in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but her name is Stephanie Beatrice.
There you go. That's where Beatrice came from. Stephanie. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, she's also bisexual, and
she
there's
is
an episode
bisexual.
about that, which is fun.
I love it.
But yeah, so I don't know. know who I want to play. I kind of want for someone who is in like the WWE to be in
Oh,
it or
ew.
something. I want some buff. Shield.
Rose is buff?
This is how. So I think there's going to be her origin story is going to be interesting because the origin story in the comic books is she's related to Bruce Banner, and she needs a blood transfusion, and so
How is she related to him? Do you know?
It's
Or you don't know?
his cousin.
Oh.
So I know this sounds like a story I'm making up right
Yeah.
now. She's
my cousin.
He's my cousin, officer. But she needs a blood transfusion, and so Bruce Banner.
He's the only one that can give it to her.
Yes, and then of course
weird.
also. So I don't mind that story, but I don't know.
They're gonna show all that?
I don't know. Like I don't know how closely. I kind of want her to have her own thing.
Yeah.
Away from like, oh, you have
What's
powers.
destined for her.
Because she was created in the 70s, and in the 70s. They would literally just create female versions of other
male characters.
Not to say for no reason, but just to have another, and so and not to say that was lazy.
Just to have a hot version of them.
Oh yeah, Mr. Marvel, Miss Marvel, everything was just here's a female version.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm interested to see what they do with that, and it's kind of crazy though because
Did they say that they have anybody lined up for the role at all?
No, they've announced it.
Okay.
End of list.
Got it.
I know that Mark Ruffalo tweeted saying like, "Welcome to the family."
Oh,
but
this sweet.
Didn't announce anything there either.
Hulk is such a softie.
Yeah. Two other things that we'll go over really quickly before we talk about. I want to talk about Disney Plus for a little bit, but there's a movie called, it's a documentary series called Marvel's Hero Project. But it's a Disney Plus show.
Behind the scenes stuff.
It is about people who are doing really good things in their community.
Aww.
So being heroes. But I think what you're thinking of, Marvel's 616.
There you go.
Which will take a look at a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. 616 is the Earth that all these. Oh, this is nerdy. It's too nerdy. Never mind. I'm not gonna
say it.
It's basically the reality that all of the MCU is in. It's they call it Earth 616.
Oh, wow, you're such a nerd.
Oh no!
I can't believe you said it.
Oh, sorry guys. I mean, we talked about it on the pod, anyways. But I will say that me and John and Andrew have already. Well, we talked a lot about how you buy these DVDs and Blu-rays of these movies. There's not a lot of behind the scenes stuff in them.
It's not
at all.
No.
Not like the Star
not
Wars.
Like it used to be.
Not like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So now we know.
But they do that because of this.
They're gonna make a whole show
exactly,
on it.
and that's why they don't. That's why they don't release any of it on DVDs anymore. Because
Yeah,
it's like, well, why? We can just stream it on our thing, and you're gonna have to watch it because you're gonna have to buy our streaming service in order to do so.
There used to be DVDs that said like 6 hours of bonus content, 8 hours of behind the scenes.
This ain't the early 2000s anymore, baby.
Nope. Now you can monetize it.
Yep.
So all of this is going to be on Disney Plus. All of this is coming out within like I believe
it's
all
November,
before
right?
2021. So Disney Plus was going to come out in November. We know a couple big things now. And then we know not all of this will be available right away. Some of them are coming out in 2019, 2020, 2021, some even later than that. We also know that they are not going to just drop every episode out.
Right. They're doing it a weekly thing.
Weekly to make sure you
giving people
stick around,
patience and shit.
which I'm excited
Some
for.
bullshit, Disney.
I will say it's a great way to be in the conversation longer.
You're just saying that because you're a stockholder.
Well, yeah, but also think about
Well, yeah, but
think about Stranger Things season 3. It was over in a week or two.
yeah, and Twitter took
Think
over.
about Game of Thrones.
Yes.
You had to last so long.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
good for
yeah,
them. But I will say this: Disney Plus has stopped. Initially, when they announced Disney Plus, we were going to get it because it's great.
Yeah.
But whatever.
We were gonna get it regardless.
Yeah, because we were like, oh, the whole back catalog, all the old stuff. That's fun. That's worth $7 a month.
Yeah.
But as they're slowly releasing all of these, because we're just talking about all the Marvel stuff, there's so much Star Wars stuff. Lady and the Tramp.
You forget how much is Disney until they do shit like this. And they're like, oh, did you forget that we own Marvel and Star Wars and like and just everything.
And this is why I think they can really take on Netflix and Hulu is they have... Now it's like you have to have Disney Plus. If you want to be a part of pop culture and talk about
anything,
you have to have Disney Plus. You have to talk about the new thing that came out on Disney Plus. And it's kind of like a very intricate, specific thing that they're doing, where every show is based on a really big property that they own. which is the opposite of
and
what
they're tying it all together too.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of properties, I mean, have you noticed the changes in the parks that they released as well? I mean, there's like so many things that they're adapting in order to tie into all these new changes, and it's crazy.
And it's like the different model than Netflix and Amazon, which is we're just going to make a ton of shows and we'll see what sticks.
Yeah.
But you can sit on Netflix and just keep scrolling and be like, I
I
don't
don't
want to
watch any of this.
And half of them are Netflix originals.
Most of them, not even half anymore. It's more than half for sure.
And they're
Disney's
basically
pulling everything.
they're like, oh, we just need some people to like this one motorcycle cooking show, or then we need this one person to do like this small hotel show or something.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Disney's over there with all of their massive IPs like the MCU and saying like, you have to see this.
Yep.
Because if you watch Doctor Strange, you're not going to know what's going on if you don't watch WandaVision, which is exciting. Ugh.
It's crazy. Disney's so smart.
Disney. You're so smart.
You're so smart, Disney.
Disney.
My God.
So what are you you haven't been on the pod in a while. What do you...
I have not.
I know you haven't you haven't like looked at every single thing that Marvel's coming out with in the next 2 years.
Time.
Anything you're really, really excited about though? Like there's a sequel to Black Panther. There's a sequel to Doctor Strange. There's this.
I am excited about the Black Widow stuff. That I will say I'm excited
that's
about.
That's the newest. That's coming out very soon.
I know. And then I think that's why I'm getting excited over it. I mean, I love me some ScarJo. I mean, she's baby girl, like always has been, always will be. I'm wondering what her hair's gonna look like. I love her so much.
She is a bona fide like superstar.
Yeah. She was the highest paid actress in 2019, I believe, in 2018.
Yeah.
Like she's fucking killing it, and I love it so much. Like she deserves it all. I mean, she's so nice. Like it looks like. I mean, I don't know her personally. Yeah, I mean, ScarJo, if you ever want to hang out. Oh my God,
let me text her right now.
Yeah, hit me up. But like, she just looks so nice and humble, and she just looks like super chill, and like I love her vibe.
I appreciate that she can also take some of her time to do, like some movies that aren't so big and blockbusters. Yeah. But she'll also spend time, with. We just saw the trailer for A Marriage Story with Noah Baumbach, and that's a very different kind of thing than Black Widow.
Yeah, they're both Disney actors, though, which is crazy.
She's engaged to Colin Jost from SNL.
Yeah. Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, she has to have patience. No, I'm just kidding.
Some of her comments get her in trouble sometimes, but I mean, she's But
I also love that she like doesn't have any like internet filter or like any internet like experience. Like I don't think she has an Instagram or a Twitter or anything. Like she just doesn't give a shit, you know, so she's just living her life.
She's been famous for so long that you can't. She's in 8-Legged Freaks that she was
like a baby.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing her in Lost in Translation, and I think she's maybe 16 in that movie acting with Bill Murray, and Sofia Coppola is directing, and I was like, she's holding her own with all of these fantastic, talented people.
She's like Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman started off super young too,
and she was in Star Wars.
But
she was also in a lot of other things before that. But yeah, super excited for her. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I think I talked about how I'm like super excited for the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
The director and Marvel says it's going to be their first true horror movie, which I'm excited for. The villain is the Nightmare, which is already bonkers.
It's already sounding terrifying.
I'm already scared. And of course, Benedict Cumberbatch is fantastic. But yeah, I'm also excited for the Eternals. Like that's really cool.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so excited about that. I can't believe I forgot about that. Yeah, like
Constance Wu is the main character in that. I think
it's gonna be insane. I'm
There's
so
just
excited.
So much, yeah.
And Kumail, my God, did you see him?
Oh, he's
Did you
buff.
see his pecs?
Oh, this is D23.
Damn.
Right?
Oh my God.
Oh, guy's so
Jesus, it's not even funny anymore. It's just like, oh damn.
You know I met Kumail.
Oh, you serious?
You know that or no?
No.
Oh, well, I'll tell you later. Twice. This is weird. So I have been around Kumail twice in my life.
Right.
The first time,
like around him or like talk to him.
Once I talked to him.
What'd you say? Hi.
Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't. Well, he wasn't really that big, and so I was like, oh, like.
What does that mean?
So the first time,
height wise or like famous?
No, famous wise.
Oh, okay.
So the first time, him and Jonah Ray did a show called The Meltdown in Los Angeles, and I think I told you that me and Randy went. It's at the basement of a comic book store.
Hi, Randy.
It was the Halloween show. It was so much fun. Kumail was so funny. There was a heckler who was, he was so good, and it was so funny.
He was so good at dealing with the heckler?
Yeah, he wasn't even a heckler. It was a guy who just, I don't understand.
Just wanted to talk?
So Kumail asked the audience, like, oh, what's like some of the craziest costumes you guys have worn? Because it was on Halloween. And this guy like raised his hand. Kumail was like, oh, yeah, what is it? And this guy's like giggling. Like, one time we thought it'd be funny to be in blackface, laughing. That was it. Didn't say anything else.
Oh
and
my
Kumail
God.
just totally made fun of him the entire night. And it was
I could hear
so
it.
funny.
Yeah.
And the second time was at South by South. This is when I talked to him. South by Southwest in Austin. I was waiting in line. This is going to sound so obnoxious. I'm not going to say it.
No, of
I
course
was
you are.
waiting in line to go to the Microsoft party to see Childish Gambino.
Wow.
And Kumail
I'm so judging you right now.
walked right past me. And I said hello. And he's like, oh, hey. But he was like trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And I just said, you're really funny. And he walked away. That was it. That was it.
Wow.
But now he's a fucking Eternal after he was nominated for an Oscar for The Big Sick.
It all started with you.
It all started with me.
It all started with that hello.
It all started with the, hey, you're funny.
Hey, you know what? You're funny.
And he took that to heart.
He
was
did.
Like, wow.
And then he was like, you know what? I got to make a career out of this.
I got to write The Big Sick. I got to be on the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Those are his two things that he's ever done.
He's done so much more than that. He's also one of the best side characters of Portlandia. I don't remember.
Yeah, come on. I mean, he's
so
just
funny.
overall a funny guy. I love his
fucking
stand up and
Silicon
his
Valley.
fucking
Fuck.
yeah.
All right. Okay, so again, but yeah, that's it for this pod.
What the fuck?
That's not how this ends. We talked about how John and Andrew are busy. They're working on another pod for us. It's called Countdown to Skywalker, a Star Wars podcast. By the time this comes out, the very first, I think, trailer episode's already out. But it's going out to our Patreon subscribers first, and then it's going out to a full release to everyone else.
Nice.
But if you can't wait for that full release and you want to listen, and you can, I think Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, all that's already going to be out now.
Yeah.
It's all recorded already. And the trailer, go to patreon.com/delphinpod, DELFINPOD. For as little as $1 a month, you can get all these episodes. For $3, you get more episodes, 5. And then for $10, we send you a postcard. Like there's a lot of fun stuff that we do at that tier. But one of the things that we're going to do right now is for all the people who have already subscribed. Fuck.
Oh my God.
I'm dying. I'm getting so emotional. We're going to say thank you. So this is just for the month of August.
Ooh.
These are the people who have signed up on Patreon.
Who?
And Andreas. I'm not going to say their last names because I don't want them to get freed up. So
Andreas?
Kyle is
Kyle.
a new patron. Phil is a new Patreon.
What up, Phil? I have an uncle named Phil. Hey.
How exciting. Rab, R-A-B.
Ooh, that's a cool name.
Yeah. Sam.
Hey,
Sam
Sam.
always talks to us on Instagram. Exciting.
Nice.
Jennifer. Carlos,
Hi,
Matthew,
Jen,
all of you
Carlos.
joined us just in August alone, and
Aw.
you're all going to listen to our new podcast, Countdown to Skywalker. And also, you're going to listen to this episode before everyone else listens too.
That's true.
We have other exclusive shows, but yeah, we're super excited.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Patreon.com/DelphinPod. If you want to be a part of it.
DELFINPOD.
But again, if you don't go to Patreon, it's fine. Whatever.
We just work our
Just
asses
get
off,
this-
but
get
it's
this stuff
totally
for
fine.
free. No, but rate and subscribe. That's stuff that you don't have to pay for. Share it with all of your friends, and then keep an eye out for Countdown to Skywalker.
Yep.
That will be coming out
I heard some of it, you guys.
to everyone.
It's fantastic
soon.
already.
Now, Sophia, do you have anything to plug?
No, just, the usual. I mean, since I haven't been on here in a while, my Twitter, I guess, it's at Simply Sophie, SimplySofiee. That's me.
Nice.
And just continue to listen to Delphin Pod. Really appreciate that. I hear how hard these guys work, and they're just so committed, and they love what they do, and they love you guys. So thank you so much for contributing to that. That's about it.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. I'm not sure if we're going to have another episode of Countdown to Infinity for a while. This might conclude our mini season unless they announce more
Right.
Phase 4 stuff. Once those movies start to come out, you're going to be hearing a lot more of us.
For sure.
Once the Disney Plus stuff comes out, you're going to be hearing so much of us.
Oh, yeah.
So stay subscribed and stay sharing. And then keep an eye out. We may release the first episode or so of Countdown to Skywalker here so you can hear it. But thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.